Good evening, everybody. We'd like to welcome everybody to the monthly meeting, and this one's going to be on the return to play. Hope everybody's having a good evening. Got Juan with us tonight. We've got Lee, and we've got Jesus with us. So I'm going to turn it right in and move right on over to the first slides we've got here. It's going to be Lee's going to be going over this stuff, and we'll go from there.
Hi, everybody. Hope all is well. I'm glad to be here. That's me. I'm your State Director of Instruction. So basically, this is a monthly in-service. These are the required education for all referees. What we have done so far is March all the way through August. Tonight is September. You can see all of those, and I'll show you a little bit more. You can see those on the CalSouth website as well as our YouTube channel. So there's our CalSouth website. Our YouTube channel. So you can see there's monthly presentations there. There's registration information, warm-up information, and then some SRC, State Referee Committee information for you as well. Okay, we were using Google Classroom for a few of the attendees, but we're no longer going to use that because CalSouth has been very gracious to allow us to have our own page on the CalSouth website. So you will see it's referee in-service training. I'm only showing you the top half, but the September in-service is there. When we're done with this, once we get the video, we'll post the video up and the quiz. So you'll be able to take the quiz right from this page. And then I'm sure that we will also send you the quiz online as well. So nothing has changed with regard to how we're going to do things with regard to attendance. Referees are still required to attend their association meetings, and it is a minimum of 5 in a year. What they're going to do is they're going to review the monthly in-services. What we will do at the CalSouth level, we'll have guest speakers. Tom Bobadilla will be our next month's speaker, and we will have the in-service, and then the association meetings, whether they're meetings or webinars, we'll review them, go over any frequently missed questions, and then do some video analysis. So they'll show some videos that relate to, for example, Thomas is going to be going over fouls, so certain particulars with regard to foul recognition. So I'm sure he'll be showing you videos, and then at your association meeting, we can also show videos and discuss things that, maybe we need a little clarity on. So that's upcoming. At the end, you'll also have a chance to take a screenshot of this. This is the URL for the quiz. We will publish at the end, right before we start the game, we will publish all referees who have completed this quiz, okay? Because this is very important, because return to play is a lot of things that we haven't done in the past. We're the professionals, we're the officials. We have to make sure that we are doing everything accurately, because if we don't, they're going to close us down, and we don't want to be closed down. So the key thing is we will be showing this roster to all the assigners. We're asking the assigners to assign those who have completed, give them preferences. If you do have any questions, this is a very large group. We're somewhere in the range of 500, 400, 500 people are on this. So the best thing to do is always, if you have any questions, contact your association instructor. If it's related to your president, ask your president. If it's an assessor question, ask your assessor. Obviously, if it's an assigning question, ask your assigner. So we want to share the wealth, as Rick always says. So basically, if you have questions, please ask your association. If they have any questions, then they will come up and ask us. Other than that, I would like to introduce Juan. It's over to Juan, and I think you probably know who that is as well.
Great, thank you, Lee. Thank you for that information. We have a lot of stuff for you guys available online. It wasn't there before, and we made a strong push, especially now with COVID, where we can't meet in groups, and we're excited to roll that out. I'm excited to hear Tomas' experience for next in service for next month and continue on. So let's continue. All right, so this will be the agenda for tonight. We have a packed night. We're trying to get you guys out of here in less than an hour. There's a lot of things that we have to cover, and we're gonna do it as thoroughly as possible and as efficient as possible. Obviously, today's the welcome. Thank you for being here. Then we're gonna go into COVID guidance websites, referee RTP checklist, CalSouth RTP phases, coaches and parents guidelines. That way you guys are aware of what they have to do as well. If you test positive for COVID, hopefully that doesn't happen, but we need to have these measures in place, RTP incidents, and how are we going to enforce this at the fields. And then we'll show the video for the return to play. It's about 6 minutes and a half. The RTP, we're going to go through some key points of the video, and then obviously reflection of what we went through with a few questions. We have some polls as well. Without further ado, we have 5 minutes with Mr. Robert Penoyer. He is on the Return to Play committee for Cal South, and he's also one of the board directors for Cal South as well. So with further ado, here comes Rob Penoyer. He has 3 questions that the community has asked and has continued to ask, and he will try to go and answer them. So Robert, with further ado, here you go. It's all you.
Great, Juan. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Fantastic. So Juan, first, thank you for just a few minutes of time from everyone this evening. I think we're all very, very anxious to get back to play. And, you know, what this is a part of is, you know, the steps as we are starting to reopen. You see things from the state, the counties, and our cities that anticipate that we're able to, you know, start activities at a more significant pace that will involve our participants and will eventually get us back on the field in full, you know, game type environments. So the information that's been provided by Cal South has tried to aggregate together all of the, you know, the sources that we found necessary from the federal, the Center for Disease Control, the state Department of Public Health, and our various counties and their requirements to the best of our ability. But for everyone, please keep in mind that each county implements the guidance from the state in slightly different ways and in their own time. And so the challenge that we have as an organization that spans many different counties is that we're going to have different activity or different areas that are operating at different phases. So one, I think the very first question you had for me is, how do we as referees know what phase we're in? Is that true?
Yeah, it's how do our referees know when they can return to play, but it's basically the same thing you have as well, yeah.
Fair enough. So here's the bit. So each of our leagues and clubs permit for fields. Those permits come from the cities, school districts, or the permitting activities, and those permits are following their county guidelines. And so what we're asking our leagues and clubs to do is to be very careful to follow the permits that they have. And as those permits evolve and they are explicitly allowed to play, right, engage from right now, we have most are in individual training or various levels of training, getting into more close contact or scrimmaging, if you will. And it's a little bit of a loaded issue. And then towards gaming. And what we're looking for is to be allowed to conduct games. When a facility allows us to do so and the permit allows us to do so, obviously that's something that we can support and we understand specifically. And so we're asking our clubs, our leagues, to make sure that they have specific permission in our permits to go forward. As referees, what I'd like everyone to question, Robert, make sure that they understand from the clubs or the leagues rather what's permitted. I'm sorry, Juan, please.
Sorry. Thank you for that. Can we go to the next question, Rick? Okay, the next question is, what Cal South phase can teams start scrimmaging with referees' participation? Obviously, we'll lead you a little bit into the presentation where we recommend from phase 3 to 4 is when referees show up into the game. But can you elaborate a little bit more on that, Robert?
Exactly, I'm happy to. So on the Cal South website, you're going to find our return to play policies and protocol. And within that, the protocol includes 4 phases. And those phases are designed for gradual escalation of participants. And part of this was constructed with USSF and others to help our participants get back in the field and start training in a proper way so they don't injure themselves, but also so we have very defined groups. In phase 1, it's minimal, there is no contact, individual conditioning. In phase 2, we allow scrimmaging within defined training groups, which means that they're the same. They don't change from week to week. In phase 3, those groups expand, so they're scrimmaging between training groups within clubs, and then at phase 4, we're back to games. So I would suggest that, if referees are being asked to support, that's fantastic. But let's recognize that they're doing so probably at the phase 3 and the phase 4.
Great. Thank you, Robert. Let's go to the third question. What are the reporting, tracing, and notification protocols for obviously teams, but specifically for referees?
Excellent. So this is a very important issue because heaven forbid, someone does become infected. And I want a footnote here is that so far through the many months that we have had individual training and so forth, we've had minimal number of reports of any infection. And even those that we have had are family members or people outside of the soccer environment that have been impacted. What a blessing, right? So the good news is that we haven't had any outbreaks, we haven't had any infections, and that's helping us argue to the state that we can go forward. Now, if this were to happen, remember, we talked about defined training groups, and those training groups are important because if someone were to be infected, then under CDC guidelines, that's from the federal level, CDC requires us to provide certain information, and privacy is a big part of this, but certain information to everyone else within that group. So as we go into phases 3 and 4, the numbers start to expand, and we need to be able to specifically identify or contact the people that have been involved. So if a referee becomes aware that they've become infected, their first step is to contact their state referee association, and you, Juan, is the SRA. And we'll take the steps necessary from there to work through the contact plan to make sure that those that individual has come involved with are properly contacted. The second bit is if you're a participant in an event, a game or whatnot, right, and someone is possibly infected and you as a referee are contacted, then obviously you want to make sure that you're okay. Please get tested, follow the protocol, and don't participate if you're displaying any of the symptoms. And all of those are listed on the CalSouth website, within our policy and our protocols. Okay, try to keep it simple. I know people are going to have questions, but please work through your state or your referee associations and with Juan as the state referee administrator. Juan, does that help?
Great. Thank you, Robert. We really appreciate this important updates and clarifying a lot of it. And that was 5 minutes with Robert Penoyer. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome, Juan. Have a good evening.
Okay, and then we'll come up to Rick Rem. He's our SDA State Director of Assessment, and he'll take it away, Rick.
Alrighty, thanks. All right, guys, I'm gonna go right into the meat of it. First slide's gonna be about, kind of relates to what we were talking about a few minutes ago with Robert, looking for where you can go to find a little bit more information if you have questions about what can be done in different counties or wherever you might be. So it's the website here is, I'll leave you a second if you want to look there. It's covid19.ca.gov/safer-economy. Okay, and if you go there, you're then going to be able to take and put in the county that you're interested in and the activity. And in this case, I picked San Diego, and I picked youth sports. Okay, and then it's gonna take you to the site, and there you'll have all the information. This was updated on August 3rd, but this is the latest from the state of California. Okay, so you'll go in there, and then I clicked on the next one, and it kind of basically shows you what's going on, showing that indoor, and outdoor sporting events, assemblies, and other activities that require those close contact are not permitted at this time. For example, tournaments, events, competitions, regardless of whether the teams are from the same schools, from counties or states, are not permitted at this time. So it's a simple process to go ahead and do a double check if that's what you're looking for, to find out what's happening where you're at. You've also got the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. You can look on their page, and they have basically the same type of things. Hopefully that helps you a little bit for a place to go check out things. When we looked at these, when we're looking through all the great requirements we have here, there's a part in there that they want us to travel. You don't want you traveling outside your community. So they don't want people going from LA County to Orange County, because you can be increasing the chances of exposing players, and it works the same way. going from Orange County up to Riverside County, let's say. So they don't want that happening. So remember that when if somebody asks you to cover a game, maybe when the scrimmages become available, you don't want to be going down to Orange County to do a game if you live in LA County. So they consider it non-essential, a non-essential visitor, spectator, volunteers. They wanted to limit that to only the essential people. So that's what they're showing in the guidelines, okay? So I'm hoping we're making this a little bit clearer to you. A lot of people have asked, why do we have to sign the COVID waiver? The biggest one right off the top of the bat is going to be that we want you to acknowledge that that you understand that there's a risk. No matter what, there's a risk. So that's the main reason why we're having you sign, why Cal South and everybody's been asked to sign the waivers. Everybody's got to sign these waivers. It's going to be the administrators, the coaches, players, referee coordinators, all Cal South staff. Anybody that's involved basically has to sign this ELA. You can find step-by-step process of how to do this in the official Word that comes out, that came out a couple weeks ago, and also on our YouTube channel. So if you go there, there'll be a step-by-step. I think Laura put together a video on YouTube so you can walk you right through it. If something happens, you can't find it, you can email refereeregistration@calsouth.com, and you'll get somebody will get back to you with the thing. Or if we're there, give us and have your presidents or signers or somebody give us a call and we can help you out. This is the big issue we've got right now going. We've talked about this before, but we're going to beat it again, kind of beat it to death a little bit. We want to encourage you to get all of these things done, which would be your concussion training. Okay, that's a one-time deal. You do it one time and you're done, and you'll take that on the NFHS website. Then there's the sudden cardiac arrest training. There again, you're doing that one time. You don't have to do it again. And then we've got the safe sport refresher training for those that are 18 years of age and older. And that's going to have to be done every year, unfortunately, but that's what we're being asked to do. So you'll have to go on there and do that. And then this year, hopefully for the only time, you'll have to be signing that COVID waiver. So you need to get all these things done if you want to be able to referee for the remainder of 2020. Okay, so if you haven't registered yet for 2021, you obviously haven't done the waiver probably. But in order to do this, you're gonna have to go on, either register for 2021, it'll bring you right through the process when you do that, or you're gonna have to go ahead and log on following the instructions that that are in the YouTube video, and then you can get all these things taken care of. Now we're gonna have a short little poll. Okay, let me get the poll going here. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, and it's basically the one that's here. Which guidelines should we follow for return to play? So I'm gonna publish it right now, and you guys can answer and send them on out. There you go. It should be launched. Hopefully everybody gets it. If you want to let me know if you guys got it up there, because I don't think I'm seeing it on my side. Yep, there you go. We got it.
Yep, it's up there, Rick. And this
Good.
is a difficult question. Hopefully everybody gets it right. I want 100%.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's not happening.
All right, we'll give you a couple minutes to do this, maybe a minute or two, and then Lee's gonna let us know what the results were.
We need to have the Wheel of Fortune music in the background next time, Rick, for everybody to answer this question correctly.
I'll have to step up next time and get the sound effects going, man. Exactly.
All right, Rick, that's pretty good right there.
All right, so we're gonna close the poll and let us know what we got going there, Lee.
So we have 81% have answer E, which is answers A, B, and D, and that is the correct answer. The number 2 is, as we predicted, answer A, which is Cal South RTBP guidelines and phases. So Rick, if you want to just kind of clarify the answer on that, that'd be awesome.
Sure. So you've got numerous places that you're going to find these things, right? That's why we have in there that it's going to be A, B, and D. You know, we want you to check the Cal South return to play guidelines and the different phases, so you're aware of what phases there are. And then B is going to be the CDC and the CDHP guidelines, which I gave you a specific way to go ahead and find those now. Hopefully you shouldn't have a problem. And then we definitely want you not to follow what you hear on CNN and Fox News. because it's kind of like watching the presidential debates. It's not real good. So anyway, the D then would be your state and local county mandates. Those are going to change, like Robert said earlier. They're going to change by county, by city. They're going to have different things. So you'll need to be up to date on those. And hopefully the way you envision it, the way Robert talked, is that the clubs are doing things, that they got permits for fields. If they're contracted or if they've been asked to, they asked to have us provide some officials, the assigner will then know that those things have been taken care of by the clubs, and we can go from there. Hopefully that clarifies it for you guys, girls. So now we got the referee phases, and I think Robert covered these pretty much in detail. But 0, we're past that already. Phase 1 on ours was, now just to throw this all into perspective, the governor's changed everything. We don't have these on the state side. They're not referring to them as phases. They're all the colors. So, but we're still staying with the phases. They kind of work with each other. So we're past the stage 1, okay, and we're moved in to stage 2, where we've got, you know, they're allowed to have their drills, and you guys will probably see them all out there doing their drills and having scrimmages amongst themselves, small groups, and doing that. We're looking forward to the move into the phase 3 if we ever get the case numbers down. So already make sure you're masked up and don't be going around coughing in people's faces. We get into the full drills and scrimmages. That's when we'll probably start to be asked to do some coverage for you. And there again, I want to remind everybody to stay in your county. Don't be going around all over the place, okay? And then phase 4, when we get into that, that's going to be back to life as normal, we hope, or as normal as possible. I imagine we're going to still have, you know, the trace stuff to worry about, but yeah, we hope we'll be best there. So I want to take the time at this time to introduce our next speaker, which is going to be Jesus Cisnero, and he's got a couple of things to cover for you. You're all yours, Jesus.
Hi guys, pleasure to be of service and getting you guys through the RTP. So let's get right into it. All right, guys. So everything we've already discussed that Rick and Robert have talked about is going to come into play now. So let's talk about what the coaches and what their guidelines are going forward. If any player displays any COVID-19 symptoms as identified by the CDC or the CDPH, they send those players home. Now I'm going to tell you the truth. This is something that officials are also going to have to assist in, especially with the protocols that they have. Only reason why is because some coaches will feel the need to say, you know what, the player is fine. The ultimate decision does fall on the referee, and that's something to reflect on later. I also tell you that the league and the coaches the League Cup coaches must be wearing masks unless they are not actively participating in drills. So what that means is that they are standing there giving directives or giving instructions, then they have to wear a mask. But if they're passing the ball or running with the players, doesn't necessarily require them to wear a mask. So keep that in mind. Assistant coaches and goalkeeper coaches obviously work with their players as well. It's not one of those times where you really need to be on them constantly, but just understand that they have been given guidelines that specifically have them wearing masks when they're not participating. Also, understand the coaches need to be inquiring what the players are doing and how they are effective on the field in their drills. So understand that they are also working together. Now, before we even get to the fields, parents have been given guidelines as well. They need to be taking constant, before they go right to the field, temperatures of their children or the players that they are bringing to the fields. It cannot be over 100.4, excuse me, all right, in order for them to arrive to the field. Also, parents are to notify coaches of any risks that their child is having. If they are, have pre-existing conditions that would not allow them to play, or, they need to really understand the risks that they're taking before they arrive. Also, just so everyone's aware, parents should always notify the coaches and the administrators if their child has COVID symptoms. Now, guys, this is more for us. If we test positive for COVID-19, the referees must report to their local assigner, the referee association president, and also the state referee administrator, which is Juan Guzman. Simply reach him at the email that you see in front of you. Now, one of the things I will emphasize is that in the future, in the near future actually, we will have something for you to fill out, but what that will entail will be basically just your full name, the contact information, the date in which you were given a COVID test, all right, when that COVID test was taken, the last time you refereed, the venue, the field, and the referee crew, and the games that you worked. Now, this is something that's really important because of what Rick's going to talk about next, is that we really understand why we need to report these things quickly for the fact that we do contact tracing. So the one thing that we do constantly is we do contact tracing. What CalSouth is going to do is basically gather that information together and then basically follow the steps to be able to identify and then follow the protocols in which the CDC and the CDPH guidelines require us to do, which is basically contact those who have been around that person who has tested positive and make sure that they are informed that that person has COVID. All right, guys, this is where we get to the field. One of my favorite parts about arriving to soccer field is that now we are the ones that are educating them. So before the match even starts, we have a captain's meeting. At that captain's meeting, we need to maintain social distancing, okay? Allow some space in between, the players and the coaches so that they can have that distance, all right? And then basically, before you arrive, have a 1 to 2 minute speech about all the guidelines that we're going over tonight, specifically the stuff that Rick talked about earlier, the websites that you need to go to, have something for them just to help them out in terms of what they need to do throughout the game. Something that's really, really important for people to touch on is that we as a collective group, referees, players, coaches, spectators are the only ones that are going to be able to maintain the return to play guidelines. But one thing that we don't want to do is shut down again because we're not following that. So the only way we can do it and have people buy into this is by getting people to understand what we need to do. And the best way of doing that is to have that pregame meeting. We are going to encounter those that choose not to listen to the guidelines. The one thing that we have in our toolkit as referees is the ask, tell, remove model that's in the laws of the game. I can speak from experience as a fourth official that sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes the ask is too much. But nowadays, I think that we can all kind of grow together and understand that we all want to do the best to keep this game going. So everyone on the first day that they return in the first few weeks is going to be like excited to be there. They're going to say to themselves, how do we keep this going? How do we not go back home? And that's where I think that we as officials can meet them in the middle. We don't necessarily have to gain their respect by telling them what to do, but we are simply going to have the conversations that we need to have. In the ask phase, simply reiterate what you talked about in the general meeting with the coaches, especially because they are responsible for those parents and those players on the technical area to respond well. Now, in case you do have to go into the tell and the remove, make sure that you document everything. Fill out the supplemental, okay? Specifically stating that you asked, you told, you remove that person based on the laws of the game. Now, the one thing I will tell you is at the very end of your report, make sure to take a photo because that's going to be documentation that you will need. If you want to look at the supplemental, it looks just like that. We've seen it before when we go out to the fields. Simply fill out the first form just like you normally would, and then add the second. Now, I will tell you, you will have referee coordinators on the site. They will be proficient to be able to assist you with this, also help you with guidelines, and also help you maintain the guidelines that we need to do on paper.
All right. This is the disclaimer of the referee video. It's about 6 minutes long. Hopefully, just so you remember, in case you're having issues with your broadband, this will be available on YouTube. And this is a disclaimer. Please don't laugh at the tremendously bad acting. Jesus was on it, and there was no kids that were injured in this video. So let's play that, Rick.
Yep, let me go ahead and find it here again.
CalSouth referee community. My name is Juan Guzman. I'm your state referee administrator. In this video, we'll highlight referee-specific return to play guidelines and recommendations. Please note, the information in this video is consistent with the CDC guidelines and soccer governing bodies' return to play documents. I want to remind everyone to continue following local public health guidance and statewide mandates. By no means is this video intended to give medical advice. If you have questions and concerns about your health, contact a medical professional. Be aware, these guidelines are subject to change. Log on to the CalSouth website for up-to-date and full documents to return to play guidelines. We are excited and awaiting our return to the soccer field. However, we must do so with safety practices that limit the risk of contracting and spreading COVID-19. Returning to play is a personal choice, Only you can decide. Referee return to play overview. Key points. Take temperature at home or before you arrive at a venue with a personal digital thermometer. Temperature over 100.4, stay home and contact your assigner for replacement immediately. Do not go to facilities or fields if you have any of the symptoms of COVID-19 highlighted on the CDC website and California Department of Health. Speak to a physician and follow CDC and California Department of Health COVID-19 guidelines on self-quarantine. Do not participate in any soccer activities if you have the following symptoms per the Center of Disease and Prevention. These symptoms are subject to change. If you made contact with referees or teams and you later test positive for COVID-19, report to your referee association, your state referee administrator at jguzman@calsouth.com immediately. If you tested positive for COVID-19, written confirmation of COVID-19 negative status and clearance from your physician must be provided to your match assigner and SRA for return to full participation in sports and activity. Referees and assistant referees are recommended to train with a breathable mask before accepting any assignments. During your training with a mask, if your breathing becomes labored, stop your training immediately. Mask must cover nose and mouth and must not have any sport logo affiliation or any image that does not uphold the core values of CalSouth and its sponsors. Mask color must be dominantly black. Referees are recommended to arrive in referee gear, except game jerseys. Referees are required to wear clean PPE upon arrival and departure to the complex. 4. Referee check-in, pre-game, mentor sessions, assessments, and debriefs. Referees are strongly encouraged to physically distance from coaches, players, spectators, and the referee crew. Referee crews can sit together practicing physical distancing during breaks. If this is not possible, wear your mask during breaks. Referees must provide their own mask and hand sanitizer. Disinfect flags and game equipment before and after use. It is strongly recommended that you do not share any game equipment or gear. Referees shall remain a minimum of 6 feet apart for all administrative procedures. No handshakes before or after the game from coaches, players, and referees. No coin toss. Frequently wash your hands or apply hand sanitizer. Referees and assistant referees are not required to wear a mask during the duration of the match. However, are recommended to do so. Fourth officials are required to wear masks during the match. Referees must practice all physical distancing per the CDC and California Department of Health state and local guidelines. If any player displays COVID-19 symptoms as identified by the CDC and California Department of Health, the referee must notify the coach and the player shall be sent home. Team benches on opposite sides, subject to state and local guidelines. Bench personnel are required to wear masks. Referees are recommended to apply hand sanitizer before, during breaks, and after the match. Mandatory hygiene water breaks, one during each half at the midway point. Assessors, referee coordinators, referee mentors, instructors, assigners, and administrators all must wear a mask at the venues and follow the guidelines mentioned in this video. If you are not feeling well, go home immediately. You must determine for yourself to resume activities, taking in account the possibility and the risk of contracting COVID-19.
South referee to return to play, only you can decide. Only you can decide.
Only you can decide. Cal South referee community, to return to play, only you can decide.
Great. All right. Hopefully everybody liked that acting that we did. It wanted to put all these things together for those referees, that go out to the field. If they have an opportunity to review this in 6 minutes or less before they go on the field, please encourage them to do so. Everybody needs to know these guidelines. We have some deleted scenes from the producer, which was me, and the director, Jorge Partida. He's the newest star at Sesame Street, Elmo's World, born for this. Thank you, Cal South. The Muppets are next. Let's play that video.
Elmo's World. La 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 la, la 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 la, Elmo's World. He's crayon too.
Great. I don't think Jorge knew we were going to do that for him. Hopefully he sees it if he's not on. Let's move on to the next slide. Just a little poke fun at the video. So with this, we'll leave it up to Jesus. Jesus, you're ready to go.
All right, just so everyone is 100%, the directing in that video was very, very one-sided. Alrighty, guys, so let's get into some key points of the video that we just saw. One of the major things that you saw in the very beginning of that video is that if you have a fever over 100.4, you need to stay home. COVID symptoms, stay home. If you feel sick, err on the side of safety and stay home. If you tested positive, you need written confirmation of a negative status and clearance from your physician that must be provided in order to return to participate. And all that information needs to be sent to your assigner, your president, association president, and Cal South. Also, guys, something that's really important, I think this is something that we all been thinking about. Referees and assistant referees are not required to wear masks during the match. Wear masks during the match. The one thing that we do say is we recommend it. If you are doing what you're doing outside of the field and training, this should be something that you should practice. Fourth officials, you are required to wear a mask at all times. Something that is really a point of emphasis for everyone is when referees are mandated to wear masks, from the venue arrival, administrative procedures prior to the match, halftime, after the match, until departing, subject to state and county and local authorities, which means that can change, but that is the current way that you need to be arriving at the field. Guys, some other key points and recommendations for this video was that, again, training with masks. Do not share game equipment. I know that sometimes we like to bring sets of flags. Do your best to not try to share. Really, 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 really important. Physical distancing, like always make sure you're physical distant. Apply hand sanitizer consistently. Guys, it's really, really easy to just pick up something on the way to the fields, have that in your pocket, sanitize as much as you can. Guys, disinfect your equipment. I can't stress this enough. One of the things that we don't like to do is walk around with our stuff after and just grab our bag and leave. Just make sure you guys are carrying some Lysol. Spray everything down before you put it in your car. Guys, some additional mandates. This is mandatory. Hygiene and water breaks, one in each half. The examples are there. Provide your own PPE. Don't expect anyone to be giving you a mask bring your own. It's as important as your uniform. Mask must be dominantly black, cannot have anything that's offensive or in, what CalSouth does not approve. So make sure it's just black, keep it simple. Guys, provide your own hand sanitizer. And guys, I know that we like to shake hands, we like to give each other hugs. Let's not, okay? Hello, wave, we're good to go.
Jesus, can I add something real quickly?
Sure.
In the case that you don't have a mask that's predominantly black and you have another color, use that other color. I just wanted to make that clear. In the case that you forget it at home for some reason and nobody else has a black one, wear what you have, and then next time remember to bring that black one.
I've got the poll ready to go. Jesus, if you'd like to read that one.
So guys, during check-in, a player shows symptoms of COVID. The coach is made aware. She assures that the player is okay to play. Who has final say? The answer?
Yep, we're coming up with the poll right now. There you go. Give you a minute or so to do this one.
This should be 100%.
I hope so.
I believe in everyone out there. 420 attendees. I believe in all of you. Please.
All right, I think everybody should have had time to do that. Are you going to go over the results, Lee? Or I can go over them if you don't have it.
Yeah, I got it. So we're close. We're close, Juan. We have a 94% with the correct answer, which is the referee. 4% said the tournament director. 1% said the head coach. That 1%, you are not allowed to referee when we start again.
Guys, really good job. That's really, really good. And yes, the answer is B. So make sure that you guys are the ones making that decision.
All right, next one. Got another one to go.
All right, guys, let's get 100% of this one. I was the ref at a state cup. I got home and I have COVID symptoms. I took the COVID test. I tested positive. What is the next step?
Give you another minute or so to do this one.
If you need to call a friend, call a friend. If you need the audience to help you, let us know. And what's the next one, Jesus? To win $1 million?
To win $1 million.
We need a couple more correct answers to get over 80%.
Woo, yeah, that's not good.
We have 88% voted. Almost 90%. Okay. The number one answer is the second and third answers. I'll let Jesus take it from there. The number two, so E was the number one answer. Number two answer was B, and number three answer was C. So I wouldn't say B and C are completely incorrect.
I would agree. I think that you guys aren't wrong if you did answer B or C. I just need you guys to combine both. That's all you have to do. So if you thought B, then you need to think C. And if you think C, then you need to think B. So you need to contact the assigner and the referee association president, and you need to contact the SRA immediately.
Also, before you move on, for those assigners and referee presidents, make sure you also copy me just in case that referee doesn't copy me. That way we can send that to the teams and the CalSouth staff. Obviously, we are going to keep your name private for obvious reasons, and we won't give any contact, any of your contact to anybody. It'll be something that nobody will know, but that there was a possibility of exposure, and that's what they'll get, is that information.
So guys, one of the things I wanted to stress towards the end of this, and I want to thank everyone for their time, is that inherently there is a risk. There is going to be a risk in this. But I think that if you follow the guidelines and the protocols and you ask questions, you are well informed before your first game, there's no reason for us to say that the risks will be any higher than they should be. They should always be a low risk situation. If you follow the guidelines and follow all the things that we do, remember, only you can decide if we're going to play. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Jesus. I just wanted to go ahead and bring everybody back on. We're going to go ahead and just remind everybody that this presentation was not intended to give you medical advice, okay? Contact a medical professional if you have any questions about your health. And there again, don't return to play if you're not comfortable to do so. I wanted to bring, let's see, we've got another slide to go, and this one's going to be for the quiz. So after this is all done, we had this in the beginning, but I want to bring it up again. So If you didn't get it in the beginning, you can take a screenshot of this or whatever you want to do. So you can make sure you get on there and take the quiz at the end. And there again, we're going to be publishing that list out to the assigners and everybody so that they can give those people that take this, look at it either looked at it live today, or if they look at it at the YouTube channel later on, that they can, go ahead and take the quiz and get credit for doing so. All right, so let's bring everybody back in. I think everybody's here. I'm going to end the show. And then I think everybody's here. So I want to go ahead and go around real quick. Lee, I haven't heard from you in a while. You've been just doing my survey. So do you have anything else you want to add?
Well, a couple things. On the quiz, don't worry about pass or fail. There is no pass or fail on this quiz. All we're looking at is for you to learn from the quiz. That if you have any questions on the quiz, again, ask your instructor or this would be your association instructor or association president. We did get some questions during the presentation. We're not going to have time. We do want to be sensitive to everyone's time, and we know the Lakers are playing. So we want to be sensitive to that. So the key thing is on that is please contact your instructor or your association president on any questions you have. I think we've answered the majority of them that I saw, and that's pretty much it. I think the key thing from my message to you is make sure you work with your assigners. They're going to let you know when the games are actually going to be played with the help of our leagues and clubs. And obviously, we have to set the right example out there so that we don't go backwards. We want to go forward. So everything we've done here today, we've spent a lot of time putting this together, a lot of research to get it as clear as possible for you. One thing is with regard to mismatch AR flags, since you do have your own, we're not going to have any problems with you having a mismatched set of AR flags because not everyone has the same flag. So that was one question that we did not cover. Anyway, that's it for me. Everyone stay healthy and safe, and we'll hopefully see you on the field in a couple of days.
All right, Jesus, is there anything else you want to add to this?
No, thank you guys. It was very fun.
And I'm just going to jump in and remind everybody that to pay attention to what you're doing. If you're doing unaffiliated stuff, you're on your own, guys, and go from there. That's what I'll tell you. If it's unaffiliated, you're on your own. Most of the stuff here, all the stuff here tonight was for affiliated matches, so remember that. And then I'll turn it over to Juan.
Great. I'm next. I want to thank the speakers tonight. They did a great, awesome job of making everything clear for me and hopefully for everyone. We've beat this with the drum. When we go out there, we're the ones that are going to give people security, whether to bring their kids or adults going out there to the games. And we're going to be the ones. And we need to take that responsibility and meet the moment. And I think we're ready for that with the information that we've given you. On a different note, I also want to congratulate Tori Penzo. She was the center of an MLS game these past few weekends ago. It's been the first time a female referee has taken an MLS match in the past 20 years. So congratulations to Tori Penzo. Let's give her a round of applause. And just to not forget that we've had 2 FIFA assistant referees in MLS in the past 20 years. One is Felicia Mariscal, she's from the San Diego area, from Southern California, and then Marlene Duffy as well, where she's from the LA area, and she was also a FIFA assistant referee and attended World Cups. So we have great referees, great female referees. We come from a great background. So hopefully one of you female referees can reach the top just how these amazing women have. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And we'll see you next month. And we'll see you hopefully on the field as soon as possible. Thanks, guys.
Good. Thanks.